it's cold in here. Shit, it's cold. Just keep, all you can do is keep walking. I'd like to stop and take a break, but there's no point. Get that body heat, get that blood flowing. Yeah. Actually, having said that, I'm going to stop here for a second. Oh, look, a school bus. So, the happy life. Happy life. The happy things. There are lots of different sociopaths who use this code. I don't usually see them anymore. And they've worked for the government or education and childcare. And they're all robots, androids. They have no real value. They talk like they do. They get on with each other. But ultimately, they're not human anymore. They probably had that part gone by the time they were born. Certainly by the time they were 7 years old. Because their ability to grow, the abstract, the thing is when you have primal issues is that unless you pursue a course of, say, witchcraft or something that's truly useful to support the brain and the system, by the time you're 7, you're not going to develop the brain properly. You're not going to develop ethics of any real kind. You can have values. Things are right, things are wrong. You can be taught that environmentalism is right, don't put your trash on the ground. But none of it's actually based in reality. It's all because somebody told you to. It's not because of anything, any conclusion you come to by yourself. If you ask most children, why don't you put garbage on the ground? They're like, well, of course, it's wrong. Why? Because you're not supposed to. Why? Why don't you put garbage on the ground? What's the reason? I mean, clearly you're a sane person. There must be a reason not to litter. Oh, sure, it's obvious. I'm sure it's obvious. So just let me know what it is. It's wrong? Why is it wrong? It's bad? It's dirty? Why? Is it going to kill somebody? Humans put thousands and thousands of tons of garbage into the earth every day. We put all kinds of swill into the oceans and the rivers and the air, into our food, medications, and vaccines. But all of a sudden, putting a little tin can somewhere is against natural law. That doesn't seem. It seems like you're a bit screwy in your thinking. Now you want to get a bit more rational. You'd say, well, it doesn't look nice. Other people don't like it. You don't want to see litter. It brings down the integrity of the area when humans treat the environment with thoughtlessness, and it telegraphs something deeply painful and wrong about the mentality of those human beings. But you're not taught that, because no one wants to get you thinking about the mentality of human beings. Right? If one of your friends litters, you don't say, hey, can we discuss the mentality that did that? Instead, I get a 45-year-old man who stalked me one day because I threw an apple core into some bushes. And he didn't believe me. He thought it was a piece of litter. He'd seen me from a great distance. And he gave me these big googly eyes. I'm wrong in some way. He couldn't think properly. Right? His mentality was sick, even though he was very passionate about not littering. But really, he was committing the only offense. He was committing an offense to somebody, right, in the name of righteousness, because his judgment didn't work properly. Why do you think that is? Right? He basically came up to me and mugged me. Why? He had lowered all his inhibitions. Why? Because of how I looked. Because he was using me as a scapegoat. He was projecting his own mentality onto me and then executing me. He was actually putting something worse than litter into my blood. He was stalking me. And what did I do? Just walked away. I get stalked all the time because I'm an intelligent white male. That's all. Just because I have a penis. It's amazing how women or men who are pretty much like women, and the way we think about women and protect women, they're really more like sociopaths than women. I don't think I've ever met a real woman. I'm not sure they exist anymore. If they do, they're probably Japanese. Right? Yes, nice women. Not that they would have anything to do with me, but they'd probably be nicer than most of you. Excuse me, I had to get some calories. It's beautiful out. My mom has had hundreds of hours of therapy in her life, and you know she's never talked about being raped to anyone but me. Because women don't tell their therapist the truth. Ever. And most therapists are female. Women, they just create a rapport by a silently agreed upon pact to lie to each other. Because that's what therapy is. It's a lie. Therapists are professional liars. Police officers for the heart. Essentially. Tax agents for the heart. They're to tax your heart. You think I'm difficult to talk to? You should see women. Always with their agendas. They have many pairs of shoes. They really want love. They're Mr. Man. Do you think any woman on earth is really capable of the emotion of love? I mean, she isn't figuring out how to do her hair and get a Brazilian and find out the exact right coating upon different parts of her skin that will reveal the genuine glow of her mystical femininity. And men will like her, to expose her ass and her breasts and her eyes and her face and her hands in the most luminous possible way, while fending off the unwanted attention of men whose attention she is bound to get, but is able to excise a kind of regressive taxation upon any unsuitable male, despite wanting the endless attention of various men that she picks out herself and stalks. And when a woman wants my attention, oh, she wants my attention. It belongs to her. It's like public property. Once you want my attention, it's like, that's mine. You give me attention when I want, bitch. Come on, I'm here. I'm feminine. I'm me. Shower me with your attention. And if you don't, you're a bad man. I ignore women all day long. I ignore them. They're such a waste of time. They're such stupid windbags. They have nothing useful to say about anything. They're actresses, professional actresses on the stage of history. Their lives will go by in but a moment, and then they're dead. They're rotting fucking boobs and uterus 6 feet under in some fucking urn somewhere. Their children going on in their pathetic sociopathic lives. What happened to the mothers? Hey, what happened to the mothers? Hey, look at these, and you would say, oh, that's awful, that's awful. Really? You worship your mother? I've got a temple to my mother. I've got multiple temples to my mother in these sacred lands. What do you have? Have you ever set up a single fucking temple to your mother in any living, breathing breast of this Mother Earth? Have you ever got down on your knees and loved the Mother Earth and all the true, sacred, feminine coursing through your flesh and blood? Have you ever gone all your life to protect that in every real sense and not just in the fucking slogans of religions given to you by the state that controls you? Right? So don't fucking judge me, you motherfucker. You haven't got any balls in your balls. You've got no fucking ovum in your ovum. You're nothing. You're an empty fucking cavity. You're a zombie and a vampire. You do what you're told, you get your chick. You walk around like you're the most incredibly environmentally friendly cunt that ever walked the earth. Ooh, pick up your can. Ooh, pick up your plastic. Ooh, you're just pure masculine effluent. Right? While you're washing 10,000th hair dye down the drain. Right? Putting chemicals into your scalp that will get into your baby's fucking flesh and blood before they even develop testicles. Good for you. You've got things covered. You're the best. It's one thing to extol the virtues of women. It's quite another to find an accurate and legitimate example of one. I think my mother does it well, because I found her. I've exhumed her. See, that's why she doesn't drink anymore. I brought her back from the land of the dead. She doesn't even realize it. She doesn't realize that when her son goes outside for hours and hours, he's trying to help her every day. She has no idea. She listens to one of my beautiful poems for 10 seconds before she goes back to her dime store novel. Right? She can sit there staring wide-eyed at tens of thousands of hours of television, but you can't listen to her son, a fully fledged druid and a satanic witch, sing to her, his heart's very spirit. That's all. There's just no attention span for that. Right? Her spirit and her body have not been reconstituted sufficiently. Right? She was told she was stupid all her life. So I don't press the issue. They tell all of you you're stupid. That's what your teachers do. School is like a sport to make everyone feel stupid or be stupid the rest of their lives. And you still look up to your teachers. It's amazing. Oh, wonderful. Mr. Vandermeer. Oh, Mr. Shippets. Mr. Haste. Miss Vanderflyer. Oh, saints among the angels. Right? Bureaucrats doing the job they get paid for. By the way, you're doing all the work and you don't get paid anything. Why is that? That's 12 years of free labor. Bit of a discrepancy, isn't it? I thought it was equal pay. Didn't we have equal pay rights? Why don't children demand to be paid for their involuntary work training? Right? school bus, and the wheels go round and round. The wheels go, the bus go round and round, round and round, round. The wheels on the bus go round and as we hurt our children. You look around you and you see what happens to them. All these unhappy people driving to and fro. Yeah. Sexual abusers, stalkers. That's just the women, right? Men and women who are gonna invite one of their child's male friends over to the house and then sit on their little dicky-doo until they get it to come in and around their uterus, because that's exciting. Gym teachers that are going to get the little girls to suck their cocks because they really want it. And the girls in this town do. A lot of them do. They're very aggressive. They don't know what sex is. They'll grow up without any notion of what sex really is at all. They don't get sex education. They get 31 flavors of genders to choose from in the rainbow halls of mutual sociopathy. Lots of values, lots of principles. But just like the knowledge, or the so-called knowledge, there's so much of it, repeated so often, that there's nothing they can do. They lose all taste for the discriminating power of their own minds. They don't know anything about right and wrong. They just know a bunch of words and jargon. Things I'll talk about at a later date. Here's the river. When you start to see a stone come out of there, you know it's gotten down a bit lower. And I can cross onto the other island down there. But until then, I made it to the other side of the estuary. Health food is an area where you'll find a lot of sociopaths between us, vegans, but the whole thing about the organic health food industry is that it's a religion that connects to all kinds of alternative farming, men with top knots who like to grow their own strawberries and subsist upon frozen vegan yogurt or something. It's just a religion to sell products. There's absolutely no clinical evidence that eating this way is particularly beneficial unless you're healing from an acute illness, in which case it can be a timely way to examine what your body might be needing, because food can become a very difficult issue when you're sick for any reason. It doesn't mean that all food is bad unless it's organic, right? And what that does is it's just actually made it harder for people to be healthy. Right? But the organic food stores are filled with these often single women, white, from 16 to 60, who are narcissistic sociopaths. whether they believe in the health food cult or not, because it's a cult. You know, the whole supplement industry is a cult. And it's amazing how many women it draws into it. The representatives for their supplements are always female, always women, always women. All the years I went to these stores and you see a representative of some stupid 2-bit fucking charlatan company, they always had a vagina. Always, always, always. Why? Because people trust women more than they do men. They trust women. After all, aren't women like always focused on food and health and calories? If a woman tells you it's true, it must be true. Right? And you could waste a big chunk of your life. And the women who get into vegetarianism are all into food control, and the men as well. Often sociopaths who are addicted to food control. Food control, food control. There was this one man, this red-faced man who managed this place for years and years before I started going there. And one day he just said, he started talking about protein. Oh yeah, like kale has lots of protein. You don't need to eat meat. There's so many great vegetables with the protein. I'm like, I didn't ask for this statement. They sell meat in the store. So why the fuck is he telling me this? Like I'm supposed to agree with him. It's weird. It's just fucking weird. They don't realize how silly they sound. I met a woman once who her entire diet was grazing on kale in her garden. And how proud she was and how that she can eat that and that fulfills her. Really, yeah, kale is so fulfilling, right? Raw kale. What a fulfilling diet, eh? And you find out about them that, their parents were alcoholics. They're dysfunctional. A lot of the women who go to these stores and who work in these stores have never had a long-term relationship with anyone that wasn't based on some pretty hinky fucking ideas. Right? Women are very likely to be sexually abusive to men. So yeah, I don't think that my mom really knew how to love a man, except that he was exciting and did things for her. That's all. So she doesn't seem to think that my father deserves any credit for any of his work, any of his suffering, any of the abuse he's taken. She never thinks that he can be abused. Apparently he's made of Teflon. And not even around her own children, not even because he took care of her own children when she abandoned her family. Nothing. It's all him. You see? She can't help herself. And her children became sociopaths as well. And these types of people all over the world, right? You can think about how wonderful it is what your group is doing and what you're doing, but you can never be wrong. You can never make a mistake, right? Right? You can come up to me if I happen to accidentally leave a can on the road. But you don't think about anything about the fucking dye you put in your hair every day, right? Because nobody tells you it's wrong, right? Think about it. You want to talk about pollution? Hey, do you drive a fucking car? Do you take airplanes? Do you know when your fucking airplane takes off, it releases about as much fucking carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide as pretty much all the cars in your area for an entire year, right? I mean, don't tell me I'm fucking polluting the environment. I don't drive and I don't fly planes. So go fuck yourself. Just go fuck yourself. Your fucking judgment is worthless. Right? Because you think you know everything. You think you know what is right and wrong when you look around. If I see a young man discarding garbage, I don't think that's wrong. I think his mentality has been demoralized. And I go pick up the garbage and put it in a garbage can. He's making a statement, and he's right. What the fuck does this matter, considering what the world has done to me? The earth is not a victim of his garbage. He's a victim of your way of life. You should be ashamed of yourself every time a young person feels the need to litter. It's our fucking problem, not theirs. Because we've demoralize them. We've demoralized them, you see. So you look at it like an environmental issue. I look at it like a human issue because I'm not a sociopath. My values don't inhibit my ability to really care about people, and they don't maximize the inhibitions that need to be lost in order to scapegoat people who haven't done anything nearly as wrong as you might accuse them, because you're a psychopath, right? But you're a socialized psychopath. It's an easy, polite way to be a psychopath. So the next time you see someone littering, go fuck yourself. You're worse than they are. You know, at the end of this video, I should just throw a can into the road. Like, I was walking up to some litter on a beach once, a beer can, and there were some old people sitting there. You know what I did? I just took a run at it and kicked it like a soccer ball and kept walking. Of course they were intimidated. Of course they were disturbed. But why should I fucking pick it up? It's not the biggest problem in the world. You know what I mean? The ocean has tons of garbage in it. And I do pick up things when I feel like it. But I'm not your personal garbage man. You know what I mean? Did you know there used to be a garbage can here? They took it away. Because with all the millions of dollars they collect from all these people, they couldn't afford to hire someone to go and empty the garbage once every couple weeks, maybe once every month. That's too much trouble for them. Meanwhile, they can pay police officers to drive around and pick their own asses all day. Right? It's all about priorities, isn't it? The benches in these areas, if someone doesn't pay for them to be there every year, they remove them. You have to pay for everything. You know why? It's all a business. Right? You're always paying. You're a pagan. You pay for everything. You pay to be born. You pay to die. Right? Oh. Pay, 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 everywhere you go, pay for everything. Don't you know Santa Claus is coming down your throat? You sit on your representative father's lap and take your children away. The sanctity of your fair home and the sin every day. Hey! Right? Santa's a representative father figure, like God. Right? Deposing your own father who buys presents and puts Santa's name on it after working his ass off. You get a beautiful present. Oh, it's from Santa. Oh, thank you, Dad, and your alter ego. Right? And your parents become schizophrenics for Christmas. They pretend to be somebody else. Right? Ooh, they hear the voice of Santa. Right? Your needs have demanded that they become schizophrenic actors on a stage and spend their money to become someone else so that you love them more, while deposing themselves via this proxy in a fat white and red suit from the proper position in your life. Wonderful, isn't it? Love it. I love witchcraft. Let's do it some more. Let's go cut out some more trees and let them die in front of our children in the name of the wonderful Yuletide season. Yay! Let's give birth to a child that's meant to be nailed to a cross. Yay! We'll do it a month before we have to pay our taxes. Yay! Oh, but it's all taxes, isn't it? Yay. I guess you're right. I'm going to watch TV now and play with myself. I'm going to go pick up some litter and be a good environmental steward of the future of the human race. Yay! You can be anything you want. You can be a policeman of other humans' behavior. Tell them what to do and not to do. Especially if you've got a vagina. You've got an incredible power. Use it as much as you can. Anyway, my mom talks to this woman in the building who sexually harassed me. It's funny. But it's good in a way. Oh, I gotta crap again. Shit. Keep going, keep going. It's a good thing. Oh, fuck, it's cold. You know, I'm moving. Oh, fuck, it's cold, fuck, it's cold. I put on an extra sweater today. Oh, fuck, it's cold. Fuck, it's cold, fuck, it's cold. when is it going to warm up? I keep asking my mom, when is it going to, she looks at her weather app. It's like, oh, I don't see any sun. It's like they've kept this world in so much darkness and cold for so many weeks now. It's like night and day. Night and day. Right? In a sense, in most movies, gender swapping is part of the plot in terms of what makes everything bad in the first place and sets up all the essential conflicts, which will never be resolved under those circumstances, much like the reason you join groups will never resolve the reason you join them. Because the dysfunction of the family is commensurate with a dislocation of the gender. Isn't that fascinating? I'm just a stupid man, though. My IQ is next to 0. Don't worry about me. If you don't understand me, that must mean that I'm wrong. Your training is perfect. Go back to your regular life. I've got to take a crap. Constipation. A reason to worry about whether or not you're going to put a load in your pants, or just a prelude to the most amazing deuce that ever graced the stage of the world. In the name of Jesus. In the name of my Father. Okay. I crapped myself yesterday. I'm not going to do it 2 days in a row. I think the dog kind of crapped himself yesterday. Good boot.